welcome into Off the Leash, another off-season podcast episode. I'm Ashley Holder. That's Leah Doherty. OBR's Fred Greetham is back in the building. Shout out to Fred.
Thank you.
Rest
Thank you.
and looking great. And Mark Schwab is also in the building. All right, so we finally got some more new Browns news to talk about. The NFL Combine started today, and we were able to hear from General Manager Andrew Berry. There was a lot that we got out of today's press conference today. Let's start off with the quarterbacks. He pretty much said, guys, it's only February 24th. I don't know who the starting quarterback is, and most likely you should probably talk to head coach Todd Monken.
Yeah, that makes sense. And he can't even tell you because he has two guys, and if he named either one of them the starter right now, ESPN and all the talking heads would go nuclear.
Oh, my gosh.
It would also be ridiculous to do it because there's an entire other shoe to drop of can they get a new guy in here this offseason. So they're going to tap dance around the subject. I did notice he said what, Shedeur and Deshaun will be in the running.
Yeah.
So he did go ahead and basically say
Dylan Gabriel's not forgotten.
That
he
is
also said
no,
that.
he is clearly
Mark has forgot about him.
That is my news. He clearly said this guy can't play for us. He will not start. There's your nugget. We know one of them is down. There's two, and we're in the running, and hopefully the third guy shows up. Dylan Gabriel.
Who everyone has forgot about.
Well, they haven't showed their hand, and there's no reason to. You will start seeing your hand shown if you go after one of the bigger name free agents. It's the same thing happened with Baker Mayfield, although he was kind of entrenched when they went full go after Watson. We all know what happened. So it's like there's not a lot out there. Malik Willis is, okay, are they in on him? Are they in on Ty Simpson in the draft? Or are they just, let's just go with what we have unless we can find. To me, I think if they go outside, it would be a trade candidate. There's some guys under contracts that they could bring in that Todd Monken's worked with in the past. And they'll show their hand what they feel about Watson and Sanders and Gabriel soon.
Yeah, and there's no benefit to saying Shedeur's our guy, right? There's no advantage to that, so there's no need to say that. Yeah.
Working extra hard,
Yeah, and you have to also remember, too, like Todd Monken from that small interaction we saw when they met each other in his office when he came to Berea for the first time, he was like, hey, we wanted you. Like, funny how everything works out. So Todd could be really high up on Shedeur, and maybe he wants this to be their guy, but he hasn't proved anything yet to why he should be their guy. So, yeah, you're going to have a fair shot between Watson, not Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur, and I would anticipate them trying to get someone, but...
Well, we did hear from Barry, and this is what he said he's looking for from Shedeur Sanders if he is going to take that number one spot.
Probably a better question for Todd, tomorrow when he hits the podium. I think the biggest thing that we want to see from Shedeur is just continued growth. I think he grew a lot from start 1 to start 7. I think certainly playing more efficiently, not putting the ball in harm's way as much would be important. While maintaining the ability to produce out of structure and generate explosive plays. You're not going to see all of that in the upcoming months because we're not on the field. So the biggest thing that he can do is learn the new offense. Get in with the coaching staff once our offseason program starts. Continue to work on his body physically, and then make strides when we actually get on the grass. You know what? Right now it's February 24th. Thank you. I appreciate it, Scott. So, we don't have to make that decision anytime soon. I think any player that we have in that room, we would expect to compete to earn a role. Those two would be no different.
I love how he always says, everybody is going to compete on this roster, as if we don't already know that. Of course, everybody is going to compete on this roster. I'm hoping that everybody is going to compete. But, of course, like he was saying, externally, the world has probably forgotten about Dylan Gabriel, but they have not. But I don't really, truly believe that Dylan is in this mix. I could see them getting rid of him, figuring something out, like you said, bringing another option possibly in. But I definitely think right now it's probably looking like this is going to come down to Shedeur and Deshaun. And considering the way that everything has gone for Deshaun, there's not too many people pulling for him except for, about $90 million or so.
Mm-hmm. You do wonder what Monken thinks of him, though. I mean, it is a fresh start. We've all been critical of Deshaun for good reason. His play was terrible. I do believe there's a non-zero chance that Stefanski was the problem. At this point, I am actually mildly curious to see how he does with a new head coach. I would, if you ask me right now, who would you rather see start next year? I would say Deshaun. We've seen Deshaun be good. We have seen Deshaun be terrible, but we've also seen Deshaun be terrible exclusively with Kevin Stefanski. I'm intrigued on another guy coming in to coach him.
Especially the way that Todd Monken was able to help, I don't know, someone named Lamar Jackson, who's done pretty well for himself.
Done all right.
Monken has worked with a lot of variety of quarterbacks, Georgia, Stetson Bennett, and Lamar, and then the running, the air raid back in college. And so that will be when they start tipping their hand. And by the way, he's going to speak tomorrow, and he's been more, unless he's really been coached out of it, this will be his first talk as a head coach, to see if he's a little more looser with the lips. I don't know, but he's been pretty frank in the little bit we've talked to him.
Well, I will say this. The most important thing that you can get out of a quarterback is someone to catch the ball. And this is what Andrew Berry said he is looking for from a receiver.
I think it's simple. Like, hey, get open, catch the ball, make plays with the ball in your hands. Like, don't really necessarily care how a guy does it. But, look, we all want receivers who can get open, catch it, and create after they have in their hands.
I mean, it's very simple.
It's very simple.
When he breaks it down, the funny thing is that someone said on Twitter and said, don't forget to catch it and hold on to it. That is very important. I forgot about that part. That's very important considering what we've seen this last season.
Did they have anyone on the roster that did all three of those last year?
Consistently?
Got open, caught it, and didn't
And
drop
made
it?
plays. Who made plays? I mean, Judy never
Harold
caught
Fanta
it.
Jr., but
the
he
other
is not a
guys barely
receiver.
got open, and if they did catch it, did anyone really make a play? Isaiah Bond was good at running straight really fast. Did anyone make a play at that position? No. No, that's what they need. He's exactly right. Breaking news, the Browns need playmakers.
Yeah.
That sums it up.
They could use two,
much.
as far as I
Yep.
think Jerry Jeudy is best in a number 2 position. I don't think he's a number 1
He's not,
receiver.
no.
You need to get somebody, and I've seen this long enough. It's time to get a blue chip wide receiver, and you usually only get them in the draft. The only way Andrew Berry's acquired receivers and hit on them has been in trades. There are some guys available in trades. Maybe he'll go that route, but I really think you need to use a high pick, and I'm saying a high pick, a 6, to get a wide receiver because there's only 2 or 3 listed as really top-tier receivers right now.
Wasn't that also, I don't know if you had sound on that from Andrew Berry today, but didn't he also talk a little bit about like being open to trading away that number 6 pick? I was curious, like the likelihood you think you see the Browns doing that.
I see it likely. I mean, as much as last year we didn't think maybe it would happen because they had the 2 pick and you thought they were going to take a quarterback maybe. If they can go from 6 to 8 or just somebody really wants somebody that they're not going to draft. And I can see Caleb Downs being there, Arvell Reese being there, Reuben Bain being there. Somebody that maybe they don't think they need right now, but they can go down a couple and still get that receiver or that offensive tackle and pick up an extra pick. Yes, I can see him doing that. He did say today he's open to that. I expected him to say that. I fully expect him to really explore that route because instead, they look at what they did last year and they really made a haul and they hit on it. And you'd have to say they definitely won that trade, even though it's early, on the Travis Hunter thing to get what they got out of it. So I really see if they can surgically not go too far. You still need blue chip players.
Yeah. The Downs point is a good one. Safeties normally don't go 6, but the really, really, really elite ones do go high. Everyone views Caleb that way. There are teams picking that would love to get him. I know Cincinnati at 10 would love to get him. I don't think they're going to make a trade with the Bengals, but there's other teams that would like to go get him. Browns clearly don't have a need at that position. How far back do you go? We'll see. There's going to be more trade talks and rumors that night and in the run-up to the draft. But, yeah, that would be an opportunity if somebody wants Downs, even if you move back 2 spots and pick up a second.
I said a long time ago, back when the Browns, before the season, I said I'd take those 2 guys from Ohio State some way, somehow, Tate and Downs. Now, I didn't realize they were both going to be in the top 10, top 8. But to your point, I wouldn't I really like Downs. But, yeah, that's an area. But then again, if you really believe he's the best player, maybe you take the guy.
If it's a clear tier break, like you think we got 4 guys that we consider truly elite in this draft, and Downs is one of them, and your next drop-off is quite – unless somebody gives you something really good, yeah, then you take him and you figure it out.
Browns are big on next
figure it
player
out.
available from
Yeah.
best player available from what we've seen out of them. So nothing would surprise
And,
me.
you know, we got to get on the other end of free agency before you can talk too much about the draft. I know the Combines today, but somebody might hear this and think, well, what do you mean take a defensive player? We don't know what they're going to do in free agency.
Right.
They could, or with a trade or something that doesn't involve the draft, they could get 2-3 linemen and add a receiver, and then you can use 24 on a playmaker, and suddenly 6, you get a lot more flexibility with that pick. So it's not crazy. We got to get through these next, month and a half, really? And then we can have a little more freedom to discuss what we know they should do at 6.
Well, I agree with what you just said under your breath. Talking about, I hope so. One thing that was a really big talk with Andrew Berry today at the NFL Combine was just what they're going to do with the offensive line. Obviously, the offensive line has been atrocious. They've been plagued with injuries. They haven't been able to block the sun. Just nothing was really going very well for them. Wyatt Teller already said his goodbyes to Cleveland. Joe Bitonio, he did say today, we don't know, he still doesn't know what he's doing. He's giving him his time and space to make that decision. But he did speak today about a model that he's hoping to be able to look at and model after necessarily what they can do next season.
I guess thinking about the offensive line, I actually think what Chicago and what Ryan Poles did last year is a really nice model. If you think about it, they did a combination of internal development, veteran additions, and draft, right? You had Darnell Wright, who he really came into his own at right tackle this past year. They traded for Joe Thuney. They traded for Jonah Jackson. They signed Dahlman in free agency, and then they drafted Ozzie Dean Trapilo in the second round. So it's a nice mixture of like youth and experience, and I think that, we would look to take a similar approach if the player markets line up for us. Joel's still working through that, and at this point in his career and this point in his life, he deserves the time and space to do that. Stay in regular communications, and we'll work through that at the appropriate time. Yeah, he's progressing well. He's been in there every day. He's done a really nice job, with his rehab. He's right on track, and I would expect him to factor in.
Yeah, the Bears were the best, I thought, last year. In Caleb Williams' rookie year, the quarterback, he led the NFL in getting sacks. So what they do, they went out and surrounded him. They overhauled their offensive line in one offseason. The big one was Joe Thuney in a trade. They got Jonah Jackson, so 2 they got in trade. 1 in free agency, a guard. 1 was internal, already on the team, and a free agent with a signing. So I can see them mixing and matching. He's not going to go out and draft 5 offensive linemen to be starters, nor is he going to go sign 5. But if you could get a Tyler Linderbaum, and there's your centerpiece, and then make a trade for 1 or 2 and sign a free agent, you can overhaul it in one offseason, and whoever's the quarterback, whether it's Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, or somebody else, you need somebody protecting the quarterback. Caleb Williams was night and day from his rookie year to last year. A lot of that was but because they overhauled the line, and that's what I'm saying. That's a top priority.
I mean, that has to be their number one priority, because what really can you get out of your quarterback, like you said, if you can't protect them at all? And it kind of makes me wonder, again, this is me just being optimistic when it comes to Deshaun Watson. If he has a great line that protects him, how do we not know he can't be the number one quarterback?
And maybe
get back to what he used to be in Houston.
Maybe that's something Joel Bitonio was waiting on, to hear their ideas in free agency, or maybe that's why he's kind of weighing his decision.
The last time a guy did that, he got $40 million a year.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
I'm still,
even if there's no plan, you can just say,
$40
they
million.
showed me a plan, and I feel good about it.
This was the plan. Sign it.
Sign the contract.
All right, we're going to take a really quick break on Off the Leash. We'll be back with Mark Schwab's True-False question of the week.
Off the Leash continues, Combine edition of the program, and I know we're talking Combine a lot, but We're also coming off an Olympic high right now with the hockey team doing what they did, and frankly, everyone, it's been like 2 days. It's still all anybody wants to talk about. So we're going to flip this through the true-false lens and apply it to the Browns. In 2028, when the summer games go to Los Angeles, flag football is a sport, and NFL players are allowed to participate in it. True or false, it is a bad idea for NFL players to participate in that.
God, there's so much. I think we've talked about this a little bit before. There's so much you can go into it with it because it's flag football, so your injury risk is low, but it's not completely out of the question. I was just talking about this when it comes to hockey. Like, coaches, you have your owners that didn't want those NHL guys to play. You had some guys that got hurt, season-ending injuries. For the players, you want to play and represent your country, but then owners are pouring millions of dollars into these guys that could go and get hurt. Then the other angle of it is you have current members of Team USA, like the flag football team. Like, I've done stories with the women's team. Like, there's men that are playing for this team that have openly said, we've been doing this for years. This is now our shot. These NFL players can't just come in and take our spot. So do I think NFL players will play? Yes. Do I think they should? Yes, from a fan perspective. Long answer short, I say true from a fan perspective, but I can
true,
see...
it was a bad idea, so you say false.
I mess yours up. I just dropped my phone. I mess them up every single week.
You've upset her.
What is it? So I'm false. Is that what I'm going with?
Yes, there you go.
Okay.
The lady
There's
said
my
false.
answer, everybody.
My answer is true. It is a bad idea because if you are an active player, you are a good player, there's no GM in the world, coach in the world, physical therapist, anybody in the world that's going to want to see their player out there. Unless this is a guy that is not going to, go back to his team next year. But there's no special teamers that aren't getting maybe as much snaps that are going to be able to play, and they're just going to be okay with that. I mean, it's still injury prone.
But NHL was allowed to do it.
I mean,
the players union got it to where they could.
There needs to be a full football.
I have a response to that, but I'll wait.
There needs to be a full football game then. It needs to be not a flag football. It needs to put the pads
your
on.
risk is higher.
Right.
And it becomes a different sport.
But it needs to be, it does. But period. You should not be out there. I mean, I just feel like if Deshaun Watson again is getting $90 million, he's not going to go put his butt on that with that flag on there and run it out. No, we need you to be okay. Like, I just feel like, no, that is a bad idea for multiple reasons. And remember, the NFL, granted, NFL is, I will always say, that is the biggest sport. It creates the most revenue. They're not messing with their money, period.
True. It's a bad idea. It's not the same sport. And I don't care what you say. It's flag football. You get out there and you're playing for a gold medal.
Right.
The competition, the competitor comes in. These guys are going to be a little
snap
more
their
than
Achilles.
flag. And, the money, I understand that the pro athletes, and so forth play in hockey. But they're not getting paid like the stars in the NFL are. And so it's a bad idea, in my opinion.
I say true for two reasons. True, it is a bad idea. One, the injury risk, as you guys have well documented, this is in July. It is right before training camp. There is very little margin for error. If you even strain a hamstring and miss a month, it can jack up your camp. But the other reason, let's just zoom out. Does Team USA really need them to beat anyone else in the world? As much as I would love to see some poor schmo from Uzbekistan trying to get away from Myles Garrett.
It'd be amazing.
Or some guy from Angola trying to cover Jamar Chase.
We would dominate.
That would be comically, hilariously overmatched.
I think the UFL could send enough good guys.
That is the thing.
But it's not as exciting.
You could take the UFL. You could take the college guys who maybe go undrafted, and I guess then you could get into whether or not they're a practice squad. They could obliterate these people. Now, listen, the current flag football players saying, hey, this is our game. That is a adorable. You guys are doing that because you can't get anywhere near any kind of real football. Neither could I, by the way.
Well, it's not fair when you've been working for something and the big NFL guys just get to come in and be like, we're going to take this.
You know
now.
what? Cry me a river. You're not as good. Those guys up against like the UFL crowd,
Right.
whatever whatever arena leagues were running, they'd have probably no shot against this. So one, between all the injury problems, and two, the fact that we just don't need them. I think it's a bad idea. Hockey, you brought up. We need that. We can't compete with other teams with our guys.
No.
Football, we don't need that. This is our game.
Just last question on this. Where was the player from that was going to be chasing Myles Garrett down? Or
Uzbekistan?
Miles at Uzbekistan. Yes, I had a guy from Angola guarding Jamar Chase.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, good thing that hopefully we will not have to figure that out anytime soon.
Go
We're gonna take
USA hockey.
We're going to take a really quick break. We'll be right back on Off the Leash. All right, so I have a random question before we, kind of end things really quick. Do you guys watch the UFL at all?
Not
Does
so
anyone
much.
does anyone watch the UFL?
Here and there.
I have not.
Okay.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, this doesn't even matter then.
Oh,
I'm just
no.
curious. They were making a lot of rule changes.
Okay.
And essentially, they're changing, like, you can't punt after crossing midfield. The kickoff changes so they can create more space. And they're banning the tush push. Do you think that the tush push should be banned in the NFL?
I felt like this year there were so many problems, like calling penalties on it when there should have been called. I think maybe they got better at that. Honestly, I don't watch the Eagles a whole lot. I think the play is dumb and annoying. I guess you might know this because you've been in this longer than me, which is a nice way to say you're older than me. That used to be illegal. Mm-hmm. And I never knew when they started doing this with Jalen Hurts. I'm like, that's illegal. You can't do that. When did they change it? Do you remember?
Josh Allen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know specifically. I personally don't like it because it's a different game. It looks like a rugby to me.
Yeah,
it does.
It's
Like there's a famous play. It's a Green Bay Packer game. They're playing somebody, and the quarterback just dove in for a touchdown, and his
Yeah.
fullback came in behind him with his arms in the air. I can't remember the year. It's a famous play, and everyone thought the guy was signaling touchdown. And he was doing it to show the refs, I'm not pushing him because that was illegal. And I never understood so I think it's dumb that they made it legal, which I guess then I also think it's dumb that they haven't banned it again because it looks ridiculous.
I remember watching Josh Allen and them doing it for him, and it's just like you sit there and you go like just 10, almost sometimes they'll do it out 15 yards of just tush pushing. I mean, at this point, we got to just wrap it up. But I'm just curious because, like, I haven't been to a lot of UFL games either, and I'm curious because I want to go to one now that it's closer to Cleveland. Now I'm here, but I mean, they're kind of banning some things that some people have complained about in the NFL.
And I just think, too, like, it's so hard on the linemen. Like, you hear, like, Jason Kelsey just, like, talking about the toll that it would take, like, on his body. Like, I just think, like, safety-wise, too, that's just got to beat you up.
Yeah.
Like rugby.
It's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
300-pounders on top of each other.
When they already get beaten up on every play anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we do know that we are going to hear from head coach Todd Monken tomorrow as the NFL Combine continues. I hope to hear him just as animated as he kind of was in his introductory presser where he said, look, we're not chipping Jim Schwartz. We are chipping Myles Garrett. So I'm curious to hear as a head coach what he is going to be saying about this struggling Browns offense and what he's going to do to bolster this defense and what they're looking for out of the Combine. Any last quick thoughts from anyone?
That's it.
All right, we're going to wrap this thing up. Make sure you check the podcast wherever you get your podcast at, and make sure you stream this on the 19 News Plus app. For Ashley Holder, Leah Doherty, OBR's Fred Greetham, and Mark Schwab, this is Off the Leash.